File taxes in California in 2020, and you must still live in California now.
There are about 3 million Californians who did not file income taxes because they don't make enough money. And to get this rebate, you have to have filed income taxes this year. And many of these 3 million individuals are disabled and certainly very poor, and this has angered many of the advocates.
State officials have unveiled future deposit dates for when the next batch of relief will be sent. These payments will range from being worth $500 to as much as $1,000. I'll be going over details for this stimulus, everybody. And now, eligible California families will receive a $500 guaranteed income program. The program is the pathway to income equity. It gives $500 to families in several counties. And according to the administrator's office, officials will study the impact of this additional income concerning reducing poverty and promoting mobility for families with young children. Supervisors and the Board of Advisors to reporters, these payments will help families with young children who are often struggling under the double burden of the high cost of housing and childcare, typically the two highest household expenses. County officials have told reporters that these payments will go to recipients on the third Wednesday of every month, and that the final payment will be issued in December. Applications for this program are open to applicants who meet specific criteria, and this includes being a resident of Sonoma County, being a pregnant or parent of a child no older than 5 years old, and being affected by the crisis and making an income less than 185%. And now Colorado residents have less than a week to apply for a tax rebate, which will give them $1,000. It's the property tax, rent, heat, and rebate. It will give Colorado residents with disabilities and older adults a rebate to help them pay for heating expenses that they may acquire this year. The annual rebate can be up to $1,000 for an applicant, and any applicant who applies in 2023 could receive up to $1,000 in refundable tax credits. The exact date of when recipients get paid from this rebate will depend on how they get paid as when they file. Applications received, approved, and processed before March 10 will be issued a direct deposit on April 5th. Paper checks will be issued on April 15th, and additional payments will arrive every 3 months thereafter. And Joe Biden's growing pressure to develop an alternative plan to cancel student loan debt is here. The Supreme Court conservative majority expressed deep skepticism over Biden's plan to wipe out $400 billion in student loan debt. He suggested the president overstepped his authority during arguments in a closely watched challenge of Biden's program. Some Liverpool constituency groups and student loan advocates want Biden to work on a backup plan to provide sweeping debt relief, given the strong possibility the High Court strikes down Biden's plan. But publicly, the White House won't even entertain the idea of a Plan B, insisting Biden follow the law when he signed a provision in the 2003 HEROES Act that allowed the Education Secretary to waive or modify student loans during a national emergency. As the 26 million Americans who apply for student loan cancellation await a court decision, the White House is only willing to walk away about Plan A, the clearest option to receive the same goal, forgiving up to $20,000 in student loan debt for the low and middle income. It will be for Congress to act on this, but when Democrats control both chambers, canceling student loan debt lacked enough support for passage. And now the Republicans have taken over the House, there's likely no legislative route. Some legal experts have even argued that Biden can propose a new plan that still invokes the HEROES Act. The White House has touted its previous efforts to cancel debt through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. However, that approach is only available to borrowers in the public sector. No existing programs provide comparable relief that posed by Biden's plan.
12 Democrats and 11 Republicans. Out of 435 people, there were 23. Over 400 men and 23 women. Come on, get out of here. So some of us just made a decision.
Director of Education Trust New York, thank you for your leadership and your vision and your hard work. It's wonderful for Kathy and I to have partners like you who are on the ground actually implementing the programs that we're trying to pass into law, so thank you for that. I want to thank all the other advocates who are in the room. I appreciate all the work you do every day to help our families thrive. I want to thank the YMCA for the amazing programs and childcare that you offer here, which is wonderful, and you are one of the groups that will be eligible to apply for this money, so it's very important that we're doing here.
Now, there are several income tax breaks that will help millions of low-income households this year, as inflation continues to impact the U.S. The Biden administration has confirmed that there are some steps they're taking next to address inflation. The deadline for Maryland residents to claim the student loan debt relief tax credit worth of $1,000 fast approaching. You have until the middle of the month to apply for the credit, which is aimed at easing the financial toll of going to college. To qualify, applicants must have filed their 2022 Maryland state income taxes and have amassed a student loan for at least $20,000, while maintaining $5,000 or more in unpaid debt. However, students are not required to have graduated to receive the credit, and people who went to an out-of-state college or university may receive a smaller credit than those who attended an in-state institution. The National Economic Council Deputy Director offered further insight into what the application process will look like. He said the application will become available for federal borrowers in early October, and borrowers can expect to see relief 4 to 6 weeks after they submit their applications. He told reporters students are advised to apply by roughly November 15th in order to receive relief. And now tens of millions of Americans are eligible for student loan forgiveness, but you might have to pay state taxes. According to the Tax Foundation, Massachusetts is one of the 13 states in the country where you may have to pay taxes on the loans that were forgiven, but Governor Baker said it's not set in stone. The reason why you might be taxed by the state on this is that when you have debt forgiven, it can count as income. The American Rescue Plan Act does have a provision that includes student loan forgiveness between 2021 and 2025. It does not count as federal taxable income, and Massachusetts is listed as one of 13 states with the ability to tax it. Consumers who have been squeezed by higher prices may be experiencing a little relief. According to a new report, fewer adults now say they are living paycheck to paycheck as of July. 59% of Americans say they live paycheck to paycheck, and lower income workers have been hit the hardest by price hikes this year. The report found that even though top earners have also been struggling to make ends meet, wealthier Americans feel less financially strained. Of those earning $200,000 or more, roughly 30% reported living paycheck to paycheck, down from the 36% of the previous month.
The bottom line is our children are our nation's future. And when we invest in them, we invest in our country, in our values, and in the strength of our future together. While we certainly can't control how our children choose to lead their lives, we can certainly nourish them, we can educate them, we can guide them towards a path to success, to launch them into the world. I'm still one of the few moms in the Senate with school-age children, but I'm constantly reminded how vastly important it is to make sure our nation's children are cared for and given the advantages that they need to live a successful and healthy life. As the governor said, about 22% of Americans are under the age of 18, and about 1/4 of those kids are under the age of 5. So we have a huge child care need in this country, and many of them do not have the support that they need to be able to succeed. And with COVID, also as the governor said, things became exponentially harder and much more strain on our state. Before the pandemic,